starting defense made from the first preseason again to the second one?
I think there was a huge emphasis on not only controlling your primary gaps, but being able to play your secondary gaps. I think our interior of D-line is growing as a unit, and our younger guys are getting reps and getting experience, so that's always a great thing to have.
What do you think of the depth among the interior guys? There's a lot of young guys, and then Jay added in the mix.
Yeah, when you talk about, of course, Tyler Davidson, Sheldon Rankins, David Onyemata, they're progressing at an alarming rate. I mean, I feel like, they have potential to be a dominant interior. You add in the likes of, Woodrow Hamilton IV and Jason Bromwell, and then, you feel like you got some good young guys. You talk about Mondu and Stallworth. So honestly, I feel like we're gonna have solid depth. And when you talk to the edge, I mean, the edge speaks for itself. Alex Okafor comes back, whatever it is from his injury in a week or so, whatever that timetable is. That's a strong starter right there. Marcus Davenport got back into some practice today. You talk about Trey and his progression. He's probably the most exciting in my mind in terms of how he's going to progress this year. And of course, you got Mitch behind him. So when we talk about our defensive line, I'm overly confident in us right now. At the same time, I'm trying to inspire the guys to rapidly try to improve every practice. Not just take practice for what it is, but try and get better each and every practice on some aspect of the game.
Are you looking more forward to the joint practice?
I want to win.
The preseason game?
I want to win. Whatever it takes to win regular season. This is the next step. When we get on this plane to go down to, I said San Diego earlier, my bad, Los Angeles, we have the same mentality that we're trying to progress every day. This is another chance for us to go against another team who has, a talented roster and get after them.
Cam, being amongst the top defense fans, where would you rank Joey Booth and Melvin Ingram?
I mean, they're elite in their own right. We talk about being able to come into a tandem like that. You're not going to face too many of those. Elite edge defenders. If you're going to compare them, you'd say, Von Miller and, DeMarcus Ware. I'm going to leave that up to you to figure out which one's which. When you talk about Melvin, I mean, he's special. His first couple steps are special. Watching film on here, he explodes off. You talk about, hand combinations, just the smoothest of the ability to create pressures and pass rush. Joey Bosa's up there. Love watching both of their film. So, I feel like our offensive line, I have it cut out for them, but at the same time, they've been going up against, me and Marcus and a healthy dose of Alex Okafor and Trey Hendrickson, so I think they're well prepared.
Do you mentioned Hendrickson a few times. Do you think he's had the most eye-opening training camp for
himself? Self-realization, for sure.
But just of all the defensive players, do you think he opened your eyes even more?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it for the past, 5 or 6 years. I'm always interested in that first, second year leap. Your first year, you're trying to adapt. The second year is where you really show how much you've grown. So, last year you could see the intelligence of Sheldon Rankins, the upcoming power of David Onyemata. So this year it's on Trey. I always sort of emphasize that first or second year leap.
What's standing out about him?
Just his ability to look into the backfield. I mean, he doesn't have that skewed perception of just seeing the man in front of him now. Now he's sort of broadening that vision. He's able to take in, what emotion is, what, the backfield looks like. He's, like I said, he's growing nicely.
Does that first and second year leap also apply to Ramczyk?
Of course.
You guys have been having some pretty good battles.
Yeah. When you talk about Ramczyk was thrown into a fire early last year, and he did well. So now it's all about just him continuing his growth.
Where has he grown?
He's changed up his sets a couple times on me. It's been interesting. He's starting to learn how to play chess. So some guys, get stuck with just that first move. Now he's trying to see beyond that.
Cam, what is your impression? He came in last year and contributed. George Johnson, the veteran George.
Yeah, good old George. I mean, when you talk about that juice that he brought, I mean, surprisingly, he stepped in Detroit game or something along the lines and made a splash play there, and really never left the film. When you talk about how dedicated he is to his craft, it's easy to sleep on George, but he's dedicated to what he does.
When you talk about you like watching film on other players, and you mentioned defensive players.
Of course. I watch film on offensive players.
What's that?
Huh? Nothing.
So when, I don't know how much time you have to do that during the season, but when does that happen, and how does that is that something that you have used to improve your individual game, or is that something you just like to do?
Over off season, it's a nice little schedule of, wake up, hopefully before the family does. And in my quiet time, it's like, read a Bible verse, now get to some highlights. It's one thing to be like, hey, chill out in my shoe room. I've got a shoe room now that happened this off season. It's pretty dope. Laying in my little shag fur rug or whatever it is. I don't know. My old lady picked it up. I don't know. I think it's shag. So as I'm laying there, I'm just sort of watching Keith Millard, Chris Dolmans, Reggie White. You're going through the pass rushers of old. And of course, I grew up around the Vikings, so I'm always just emphasizing, like, 1 year he had 19 sacks, he had 16 sacks, he had, 17 sacks. Just going through the old legends, but then you keep current. And you look what Calais Campbell did last year, and how he inspired Yannick Ngakoue to have the best year he had, how Dante Fowler had the best year he had, Malik Jackson. So then you go through and you sort of just pick out different edge rushers. Your Von Miller, I don't think I'm ever going to get his first 3 steps, but I don't need that. We've got different things. So you go ahead and you look up your Derek Wolves, and you look up, all interior rushers, your Jared McCoy, the way he goes through the gaps. You sit over to Cincinnati and you go through, Carlos Dunlap and Geno, of course. I don't think I can do what Geno does. The way he shoots, the way he jumps through gaps sometimes, it's impressive. I don't think I'm ever going to be as short as Aaron Donald, but he is strong and as quick as he is. You just try and take all the hand games you can from him. So then, of course, you get to, Joey Bosa, who, again, probably has the cleanest, smoothest hand combos you're going to get. Somewhere in the offseason, you're just sort of just chilling out, watching these reps of how can I implement any of this into my pass rush. I'd say I watch offensive linemen, but I'd be lying.
And Cam, along those lines, Chandler Jones, look at the past 2 years, what he did. I mean, tackles for loss, sacks, and all. What was so special about him?
Oh, he's 6'6", and he knows how to extend. I mean, when you talk about his speed, his power, his long arm for some reason is slept on. He's able to create that space, and when he does it, I mean, he makes big plays. So I even like the way Marcus Golden rushes. I mean, and when I don't know how to say his name, Robert. When he gets motivated, he gets special. It'd be interesting to see how his growth works.
Last year, the issue with the defense popped up the first 2 weeks of the season. Where do you feel like this group is now compared to a year ago? Growing for sure. When you talk about, again, that first and second year leap, I'm looking for Marshawn to progress, and he's got that fire in him. He wants to be the best, which is amazing for us. You talk about Marcus Williams. He has worked his arsenal off this entire off season. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the workout videos. I was inspired. So you talk about, Von Bell going to year 3, just everything about our defense feels like we could have something special. Now, linebackers take care of themselves. I feel like we've got a solid veteran group there, sort of pushing each other. So I sort of let them be who they are. But we talk about the younger guys. It's always interesting to see how well they can progress. And each practice they're challenged. I mean, when you talk about our wide receiver core, leading with Mike Thomas, I mean, you're going to have to push yourself to the limits.
Speaking of younger guys, I think everybody, because of the recent success you've had with, Michael Thomas and last year with Lattimore and Kamara, that everybody just expects Davenport, that he's just going to fall right in. Is that unfair pressure for a young player to just say he's expected to be as good as those guys?
I mean, if that's the outside perception, it is what it is, outside expectations. I always push Marcus to just know himself and try and better himself every day. Without probably divulging too much, I'd like to say that, Marcus has the abilities to be special. We're just trying to make sure he progresses in the right direction.
You have to keep him just encouraged just because he hasn't been practicing, in training.
I mean, that's easy enough. You don't have to encourage somebody who's been on the sidelines and you see his brotherhood working, and he's, a step behind. When I say step behind, I just mean he's on the sidelines looking in. He's not in the line of fire. So when you say, you see that he wants to get out there, he's trying to, push his reps where his body will let him. So as long as we let him get back to being healthy, we'll have I'm sure the coaches will have a view for him.
Do you give Marcus your highlight list? Talked about earlier.
No, I mean, we always push, just words for him. I'm like, just check out Carlos Dunlap, check out your taller rushers, but at the same time, be aware that, you're gonna be one of your taller defensive ends out there. So be aware of your leverages. Be able to, look at Vaughn and the way he bends. Look, check out a couple of my rushes. See the way that after contact, you have to be able to dip the tip and get as low as you can. With height comes, some easy swim overs, but at the same time,
leverage is going to be key for you.
Ken, what's that thing a lot of you defensive guys have been doing with the ball whenever they settle down in practice? I noticed a lot of y'all run up and
We've been doing that for, what, a couple years at least. Just always making a game out of effort. Just trying to be the first one there. If you're not first, you're last. So if we can create that rally mentality, you're not first, you're last to the tackles, you're not first, you're last to the, trying to punch the ball out, getting to the quarterback. Everything we try to do, we try to make the competition.
Cam, looking at you were able to force 3 and outs to start the game against the Cardinals. Does Dennis Allen, does he really emphasize that, hey, we got to get off the field at 3 and out? I know you want to take away the football, but how important is that?
I mean, it's the same as almost a turnover if you get a 3 and out, short field, give the offense another chance to score. So anything we can do to get the ball back in our offense's hands, I almost said Drew's hands, but our offense's hands, we have the potential to score every drive.
I think this is the first time we've talked to you since the first preseason game, so I'm going to ask.
Is that true?
Or since, I guess, right before it. I know you sent a tweet out and you used, I thought, a term that was at least polite and funny when you said goober.
You remember the snack? It was a little candy bar.
Was that just was that kind of a spur of the moment thing, or is that something that you realize that you all still talk about and kind of,
anytime you talk about 45, that's just a whole other subject. I'm gonna try and be more positive moving forward when you talk about what I can do for our community. So I know exactly what I can bring to the table to our community. I'm gonna try and reemphasize focusing on that, because when you talk about bringing in a guy like 45 who it's sort of left unchecked. It is what it is, I'd love to say, hey, he doesn't affect our lifestyle, but he affects our daily life as a community, as a nation. So when you talk about that guy, next question. Catch me off camera for that one.